Over $100 billion is lost every year to scams. There are numerous YouTube channels dedicated on this topic. There are two I adore, CoffeeZilla and Spencer Cornelia. However, you rarely hear about scams, scammers, and government contracting. You rarely do. My name is Kizzy Parks, and I have been awarded well over $50 million in federal government contracts. And sadly, I've also been a victim to government contracting scams, losing about $300,000. And the goal of this video today is to help you identify those different flags, red flags, and to help you prevent from being scammed. When I first started out in this space, there was a gentleman. For the sake of this video, we're going to name him Tony. Mr. Tony, extremely well known, very nice. He was this authoritative figure. He was older. He had a lot of experience. And he also had invited me to present at an event, which kind of acted as a business development opportunity. So he was someone that I knew, I liked, and I trusted. He connected me with someone who we're going to call Sam. He said, Kizzy, you need to meet Sam. Sam has this opportunity. I believe it's on the GSA schedule. You need to connect with him. It may be related to a client you already have. Potentially, you guys could work together. I was elated. At that time, I wasn't on the GSA schedule. And you can only bid on work if you're on the GSA schedule as a prime. And there's no way for you to even learn about the government contracting opportunities on the GSA schedule unless you have that schedule. I know, it's crazy, right? So I was excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to talk to the Sam guy. He's referred by Tony. Terrific. We talked and he said, I also live in Florida. I'm going to fly my plane to meet you in Orlando so we could have lunch and talk about this opportunity. Oh my goodness. Someone's getting in a plane, like their own plane, to fly and meet me for lunch. I am blown away. I am awed, like, whoa, this is impressive, right? So we met, we lunched, and he talked about the opportunity. It was for one full-time equivalent at an Air Force client that I had. And he was very interested. He discussed how it was on the GSA schedule and that he knew he had a really high likelihood of winning, but he really wanted my involvement so he could just seal the deal, so he could meet and exceed the evaluation criteria. And in exchange, I will provide you like a commission because you're helping, as well as he stated that he had other opportunities. Sam said, hey, I have tons of opportunities. We can bid on these other contracts so that you can grow your business. I was sold at I'm flying my plane. You knew this, right? I was sold. This is amazing. He had experience, expertise. He came across like a grandfather, and he was validated by someone that I trusted. I was in. So I contacted the client and just gave them a heads up that some things were in the works, and don't be surprised if you see my name on this particular opportunity. Lo and behold, Sam won. I was excited. We all won, right? Got my first check. And right around the time that I received the first payment, I was also partnering with him on an unrelated opportunity for a wide variety of training, like in person and online. So I was like, this is amazing. I want to do more of this, right? I give you some assistance and you pay me. Hey, who is not interested in that? Second month comes. Where's my money? I reach out to him. Hey, just checking in. Yeah. I'm going to get to it. There was some issues this month. Understood. Waiting to hear back about the proposal we submitted. Got it. Third month, no money. Fourth month, No money. Different excuse. Oh, my wife is really sick. 5th, 6th. I believe maybe his wife had cancer. I don't know. I don't even know if he was really married or not. I'm not trying to take away from the situation. I just knew at that time I received one payment and that was it. About within 7, 8 months, he called me. You know, the person in the full-time equivalent role is really sick and I need to replace them. Do you by chance, do you have a recommendation? I am not going to be fooled twice. No. I said, of course, I can help you once you pay me. He then proceeded to argue and he hung up on me. And that was the last time I spoke to him. Several months later, someone from his team contacted me. And it was actually a woman who I knew from a different company. One thing about government contracting, it's a small world. It's a small world. And she informed me that she was hired to kind of clean up things with his business. And congratulations, that proposal you all submitted, you won it. And I said, well, that's fantastic, but he owes me money. She responded with, oh my gosh, he owes you money too? I said, yeah. And she's like, how much? And I'm like, well, over $20,000, $20,000, $30,000. She's like, well, do you have a contract? Do you have any kind of arrangement with him? I said, no, I don't have any of these things. It was his word. And we kind of went back and forth on emails, but I don't have anything because I trusted him. He could have been my grandfather. He was referred to me. I never imagined that I was intentionally being scammed. And so she said, well, I can't help you. And I said, well, I don't want any part of this opportunity and do not include us in any future proposals. I wish I could say that was it, but there were more. There was a company, a big company, because in government contracting, either you're small, meaning you can bid as a small company, or you're not small. There's no medium size that doesn't exist in government contracting. So this particular company could only bid as a large, meaning on opportunities that were not set aside for small business concerns. So they needed to partner with this particular opportunity with other small businesses and a variety of different types of experts. And they had heard of me. Ooh, wow. They were definitely stroking my ego. We heard about you, Dr. Parks. We need an industrial organizational psychologist for this FTE position for this opportunity. And it was with an agency who we had never worked with. I had several phone calls with them. And I thought, well, this is amazing. I had a non-disclosure agreement with them. I had a teaming agreement with them, but I did not have anything in relation to breakdown of work or any of these other kinds of things that I now know and will share that you need to prevent being scammed. So I was sold. I was like, oh my goodness, this is perfect. They need an IO psychologist. At the time, I had other IO psychologists with advanced degrees on my team. So I knew while I was part of that proposal, I could then sub some of that out to other team members or to employees, depending on what they really needed. All I knew is that they needed me. I felt special. They were a big organization. Why not? So I provided them my resume, my bio, and various other input on the proposal. And time passed. It passed. Lots of silence. Radio silence. Radio silence. So I decided to do a little research. One thing about government contracting, the vast majority, not all of them, the vast majority of opportunities, you can find out about them online. Not only when they're in the solicitation, sources sought stage, but even after they're awarded. So I started to look into the solicitation and I found out, oh my gosh, we had won. I thought it was we, right? It's more like they had won. So I reached out to them. Hey, congratulations. It appears you won. So we're going to work together. What's the next step? Oh, yes. Well, we'll get back to you if we need you. Now, you could say, well, they say they didn't need you. Okay, maybe the agency decided that they did not want to fund that position. I doubt it. It was a large award. It was multiple millions of dollars. Or they could have decided, you know what, we would save a lot of money if we did not involve that Dr. Parks lady. I think that's what they did. So I ended up losing anywhere from around 100,000 to almost $250,000 because it was for a high value labor category for a ton of different hours. And that's just for 1 year. I have a bonus for you. While there are numerous different scams and scammers out there in the government contracting space, there is also tons of scammers who target just business owners all of the time. And another situation that happened early on within my first about 5 or so years of being in business. And mind you, I started my company like while I was in graduate school. So I didn't have like any kind of reference, right? I just was like, okay, let's do it. Okay. So several years ago, I was in the business, working in it, working on it, staying up late, stressed out. How am I going to do this? How am I going to pay my bills? Like on fire, hair on fire. My hair definitely didn't look as cute as it does now, you know. It was wild. So in the mail, I received this letter from, seemed like the state of Florida. It looked right. The address, the company's address, Tallahassee. Okay, cool. It's capital of Florida. And it stated in order to be compliant, you need to send a check for X amount of money. It was like $150. Please mail it to us. And I was like, oh, okay, makes sense. Because in the state of Florida, when you have a corporation, there is an annual kind of compliance report requirement that involves money. And if you don't pay it by a certain date, you will then incur a fine. So I thought, this is great. Okay, you're mailing us. I'll write out the check. Bam, didn't think about it and went on being stressed out. About 2 months later, I received a letter. This time it looked real official, like, okay, this is definitely from the state of Florida. And in the letter, they stated that we became aware of this company who made it appear as if they were a state organization, when in reality, they are a private company and they were selling something that is not required for you to legally maintain your corporate business status in Florida. Here's a copy. Here's your check. Not even a copy. Here's your check. If you want to do business with them, great. But just know you don't have to go through them. I was so relieved. I was like, oh my gosh, when does this end? Because I already had the 2 other situations happen. So thankfully, I wasn't scammed. And while scamming is just all over the place, I do have some tips for you based on these horrible experiences. There's more too, but that may be for another video for you to take note of. Here are my list of ways to prevent being scammed. And I have notes. So in case you're wondering why I may look down or may look up, it's because I am reading my notes, because I want to make sure that none of these things ever happen to you. You want to make sure that you conduct extensive research on a teaming partner, teaming person, teaming whomever. Many of the situations in which I lost money involved a teaming situation. You need to research them like you're researching a person on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook. We've all done it. I know you've done it. That's the same kind of energy you need to put toward this. And one way to do it is ask them, hey, I'm just curious, company XYZ, could you maybe give me like 3 references of other companies you've partnered with or other people you've partnered with? I just really want to learn more about their experience with you. So I actually did that recently with a company who is trying to sell a very expensive service. It was about $100,000 service. I asked for 3 references. A week went by, nothing. And they said when I asked, oh, no problem, of course. Week went by, nothing. So I asked again, oh, okay, here you go. I received 1. Shortly after, I received a second reference. The first reference never responded to me. I contacted them multiple times. I even looked them up on LinkedIn. The second one, very, very nice person. We had an extensive phone call. And it was pretty evident that while that firm is probably lovely, the service that they were trying to sell didn't really seem to have a successful track record. If I wouldn't have asked for the references, I would have lost another $100,000. It's no different than when you're teaming. Ask for references. Also, you want to make sure you have a teaming agreement, a non-disclosure agreement, and you want some type of subcontractor agreement and or a work breakdown. So you know ahead of time, if and when we win this, you will get, I will get, that's how it will work. In addition, how will you invoice them? What is their net? How many days before you get paid? Is it they will pay you after they are paid? Is it net 30, net 60, net 90? For instance, my flagship company does a lot of work, millions of dollars already with IBM. They have a net 90. We knew that going in. There's sometimes when they'll change that, but it's net 90. So you need to know so you can plan accordingly as the business owner. Very, very important, extremely important. You also need to receive a copy of the proposal. You may not get the pricing, and here's why, but you definitely need a copy of the proposal so you know what's all involved in this. Also, ask them, are there other teaming partners? There have been times, especially early on, when I was involved in a team of 5. There's nothing wrong with being involved in a team of 5. It's just good for you to be aware of that instead of surprise, this is what's going on. You don't want that. That's not good. Pricing. Often government contracting companies, we have our pricing that we are going to charge the said agency. Then we have the pricing that, or the rates that we pay to employees, we pay to contractors, we pay to subcontractors, because we're businesses. There's a profit to be made. So often they're not going to share their pricing with you because they may not want you to be aware of what they're charging, because pricing can be very sacred for many. So therefore, it's not a red flag, I promise y'all. If they don't want to share their pricing, it is a red flag if they're not going to share the proposal. There's no reason they shouldn't share that proposal. Unless on the rare occasion, there is some kind of copywritten something in there, which typically you wouldn't put in a proposal anyways, unless you put the statement at the bottom, how it's proprietary information. They should give you a copy of the proposal, because the more information you have, the more that you are set up, the more that you are established. If something happens, something goes sideways, you are now positioned where you can involve your legal team, Or if you don't have a legal team, you can receive counsel from someone and you have all of the paperwork, and therefore you won't be in the situation of, I didn't have anything, bam, now I've been scammed. It will help prevent that. And while I lost a lot of money, a ton of money, I didn't become bitter, not angry, not vindictive, none of that. It made me a better business owner. It really led to a huge change in how my businesses operate. And I have been awarded millions of dollars in work as a result of partnerships. I love partnering. We have my flagship company and my other companies have so many different partners and contractors. It's beautiful to be able to continuously contribute to this amazing world and to the economy. So partnering is glorious. It really can help. Just make sure you incorporate those tips so you can avoid being scammed. Also, as a bonus, y'all, I have arranged for you all to receive for free actual NDA, team and agreement, and a draft breakdown of work for free. You'll see the link below. Y'all will see the link. Please take a look, check it out. This is not legal advice. These are documents that my flagship company have used in the past. I'm giving them to y'all. Why? Because scammers are going to scam. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. But y'all know better now, right? Y'all know, you all know, and you're prepared. So thank you so much, all my amazing GovCon winners, for being here. Check out the freebies. Please subscribe, hit that notification button, share, comment below, and don't forget, everything is possible.